Hello, my fellow chairs. I am currently leading the nation of the Teutonic Order in 1444 as I attempt to complete their entire mission tree without expanding outside of that mission tree. And on top of that, we are going to be going down the Horde path as we reform into the Mongol Teutonic Order. Now, Teutonic Order is in kind of a tough situation, especially for newer players or people who have never played as these guys before. They can be pretty challenging just because you are right next to both Poland and Lithuania. And on top of that, you have other nations like Brandenburg that are one good alliance away from beating you up. And additionally, there's the nation of Muscovy, which of course, as we all know, historically became a very strong, important nation. However, I'm going to show you guys exactly how we can secure our position and make ourselves very strong and handle the Polish very easily. And it all starts with our estates. Now we're going to go ahead and hand out some of these privileges. I'm not going to hand out any of the monarch privileges just yet, and I'll show you guys why in a little bit here. But we are going to be going with religious diplomats, of course, and clerical education. And if I can get the cheaper advisors, that would be great. As for our nobility, same thing. We're going to go with increased levy, cheaper advisors, and additionally, nobility officer rights. As for our burghers, we're going to be going with patronage of the arts, commercial advisory board. I will go indebted to the burghers just to get some more loans. And we're going to be going with bookkeeping here because I do rely heavily on a loan-based economy. So, Chairman, why didn't you hand out any of these monarch privileges? Well, that's quite simply because of this mission here, handle the Confederation. You see, if we don't complete this mission, essentially our country gets put into a civil war as the nation of Danzig here, who does have cores, basically rises up in rebellion against us, and they get support from Poland, which obviously we don't want to be fighting Poland in a war that we technically start against Danzig. Like the worst case scenario. But what I will do is actually focus on mill at the start here, so then that way we could try and get to military tech 4. Because as soon as our truce is over with Poland, we're going to be the ones invading Poland. Now, of course, looking at our mission tree, I did just briefly talk about handle the Confederation and how important it is for us to actually complete that mission. Now, it is very wordy. As you can see, there's so many things going on right here. And from what I can gather, you just simply need to get stability +1 and have 40% crownlands, and you're good to go. So that's why it's important that you don't hand out those monarch privileges, so then that way you keep all those crownlands, and then after the fact, after you complete this mission, the Prussian Confederation will not rise up against us, and then you can hand out all those monarch privileges. Some of the other important missions that we're going to be doing at the very beginning here is seek imperial protection, which just simply requires Austria to have 100 opinion of us. And then there's a good chance that we could actually join the HRE if we want to. This mission here, Livonian Alliance, this involves a lot of RNG. Essentially, you need to make sure that you have a statesman advisor and it's all Diplo rep based. You ally the Teutonic Order, get your relations up to 150. There's a good chance that you can actually straight up vassalize the Livonian Order, which of course would be fantastic because they bring an additional 9,000 to 12,000 troops. Finally, the other mission that we could start out with is expanding our army. We just need to have 100% of our force summit and a military advisor. Speaking of our military, our nation is actually pretty strong in 1444. We can have up to 16,000 troops. We start out with 10% army professionalism, and we also have 10% cavalry combat ability thanks to our Teutonic traditions. And our Teutonic traditions additionally give us another 5% discipline. So immediately, our army is actually very strong at the start here. It's just that the issue with Poland and Lithuania, they just outnumber you. With us making a little bit of money here, we are going to go ahead, hire a military advisor here, and I will go ahead, build one more cavalry unit, and build 3 more infantry. I'm also going to go ahead, send an alliance offer over to Livonian Order, and begin improving relations with Austria. And really quickly, I just want to mention, I forgot to seize land. So just make sure you do that. That's going to put you up to that 35% crownlands. All you need at that point is an additional stability and another 5% crownlands, which you can get either from developing or waiting until 1449 when you could seize more land. Also think it's very important to mention, we are not a traditional monarchy, we are a monastic order, meaning that we could actually choose what faction or what estate our heir actually comes from. And I'm just going to go with the randomizer here. We're going to get a 3-2-5, a good old Heinrich. And as I mentioned, we are a monastic order, meaning we actually get our heirs, rulers can both be generals. And we also get fort maintenance and yearly army tradition. In addition to that, we get all these amazing government reforms. I think, honestly, monastic orders probably have the best government reforms in the entire game. Sweden wants our independence? No. Get out of here, Sweden. I don't care about you. But what I do care about is the fact that Bohemia over here wants to secure an alliance with us. Now, Bohemia, that's a good old alliance. I like that a lot. So let's go ahead, secure that alliance. And it was honestly between them or Hungary. They're both pretty much like the same nation. You can argue that Hungary's a little bit better because of their ideas and stuff. But Bohemia, they also start out with these two subjects. Similar force limit, they're still really good. And now, because I have that military advisor, 100% force limit, we can now expand our army. So for the next 25 years, we get fort defense and minus 10% shock damage received. We also get permanent claims over on Poland over here. What is going on? Aragon and Austria secession war. Oh my God. England just went under Austria. In a year? The game just started. What do you mean that they just got England under a personal union? And the fact is, they're probably going to get Hungary under a PU because, I mean, Hungary, when I tend to notice whenever they ally Austria, almost always chooses the Austrian guy. At some point within the first year of the game, you're going to be greeted with this event pop-up, Situation in the Teutonic Order, essentially allowing you that you could choose a couple different paths here, as the Teutonic Order does have what's known as a dynamic mission tree. So as you guys can see, the vast majority of our missions is completely grayed out and just has a giant question mark. Eventually what's going to end up happening, I think it's once we actually complete, the defeat Poland mission tree here. It's actually once we complete this mission, defeat Poland, that we could choose what path that we go down. And there's the Prussian path, which is essentially becoming Prussia and pushing into Germany, or the path that we are going to be going down, which is the Crusader Path and reforming into the Mongol Empire. And of course, Poland, this is pretty expected. They're almost always going to be choosing Lithuania as a personal union partner. I'm honestly more surprised when they don't choose Lithuania to be their PU partner. Now with this Livonian Alliance mission, I obviously am allied to the Livonian Order. Their opinion of me is up to 150, and I have a Diplo rep guy. Now, if these guys refuse to become my subject, the chairman is going to be very angry. And we're going to make these guys become our subjects at some point, because I want them to be my vassal. They're a very strong vassal. They're one of my favorite countries actually to subjugate because of how strong they are. So please, make the right choice here, Livonian Order. If they don't accept also, we do get a subjugation CB on these guys for the next 30 years. Oh, thank you, Livonian Order. You guys made the right choice. Welcome to the fold. And now, because they made the right choice, we can complete Bound of the Orders. Simply just have to vassalize these guys, own those areas, at least 8 to 9 provinces in that area, and Liberty Desire of them just need to be below 10%. This gives us for the next 25 years manpower recovery speed and yearly army tradition. Very crucial, especially that manpower recovery speed. And most importantly, now that we completed that, we unlocked Defeat Poland here, which just simply requires us to own at least 4 of these provinces that we have claims on, thanks to our Expand Our Army mission. Also, finally got my relations up with Austria, so up to 100. We're going to get this event, the Empire and the Teutonic Order. We can choose the top option. More than likely, Austria would be like, hey, yeah, join the HRE. That's cool. Well, you won't be able to expand into the HRE. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But we're going to choose this bottom option here. We're going to get 100 military power. And for the next 15 years, we're going to get morale of armies and prestige. And Austria is not going to like us so much anymore, but it don't matter when your army is going to be much better than Poland's very, very soon. Okay, so November's rolled around. I could finally seize land. Again, we're going to get a couple rebels here. But now that I have stability, 40% crownlands, as you guys could see, I can now complete Handle the Confederation and get 10 prestige. Don't have to worry about that disaster whatsoever. And now we can just focus all of our efforts into Poland, which is great because we just got Miltech 4 and they're still at Miltech 3. I also curried up favors with both my allies of Volgost and Bohemia over here. So we are getting very much ready to just dunk on the Polish very, very soon, literally within like a month. All right, and we're just going to go ahead, do this war. Now, we will be slightly outnumbered, but that should not matter just simply because we are going to have that technological advantage, though I really don't know how much longer, considering I just noticed Poland's king is a 466. They also have a 335 heir as well, so that may be problematic, but we'll see. Here we go, very first battle. It's actually going to be against Brandenburg, and yeah, of course, that's going to be a stack wipe because we just simply outnumbered them, and they don't have that military tech either. I'm going to get military access through Volgost, and we're going to march straight into Berlin, so we can hopefully knock them out of the war and focus everything into Poland and Lithuania. And here's actually our very first battle against Poland. They're going to be attacking our allies here in Poznan. They do have a 2-star general, which is very unfortunate, but after we reinforce here, we should outnumber them. We should hopefully, yep, we are winning this battle pretty nicely here. Come on, guys. Brandenburg's trying to get into here. Sort of Lithuania got in here. All right, we're going to have to retreat. Get out of here. Here we go. Another battle against the Polish. This should be a good one here. None of their guys are anywhere near close to reinforcing. And now they're at Miltech 4. So we are even with each other, technically, at this point. But it is a lot easier. And now I'm going to try and take the war goal in hopes that maybe I could get some war score. Maybe Bohemia is going to stay in this war. Now, in the interest of just getting Brandenburg out of this war and getting my ally off of that fort over there, I'm just going to go ahead and give Brandenburg these 2 provinces, 20 ducats. They're done. They're out of the war. And now Bohemia can help me focus everything into Poland, which is great because Poland has no manpower. So finally, we get this awesome event, the Rise of the Knights, essentially letting us know that the time of crusading military orders is coming to an end, especially with the conversion of Lithuania from paganism to Christianity. But this gives us an additional 10% morale of armies, manpower recovery speed plus 15%, army tradition plus 1, more army tradition 15 just that we get. We lose 100 admin and we gain some manpower. That's a very, very nice event. And Bohemia's out here. They paid basically 100 ducats over to Poland. That's okay. It's just us versus Poland and Lithuania. I think we should be able to handle this. I'll just hire one more mercenary company, like a Novgorod company if I can, since they have a pretty good general. Worst case scenario, at some point I could do the free company, but again, should be okay. Tier 2 government reform. Let's look at some of these really good missions that we could choose. We have internal mission, giving us talent to true faith, and constructing churches, cathedrals, make our clergy happy and loyal. External mission, which this is going to be the one that we go with, gives us additional 10% manpower recovery speed. Missions on the high seas basically bolsters up that navy a little bit, as so long as you have one home port. Balance mission, expansion zealotry no longer gives any malices to your country when you're at peace. It also gives you yearly devotion and change national focus cooldown -10. Commercial mission, merchant, global trade power, and mission of protection gives you more fort defense and more missionaries with prestige per development for missionary, and recruiting generals increases the loyalty of our clergy. But again, we're going to go with external mission because I want that manpower recovery speed. So far, still a very tough war. But we are winning this as we just beat up the Polish and the Lithuanians. I'm going to try and converge on this army here. But Poland, still out of manpower. All these troops are basically mercs at this point. Lithuania, they still have some manpower, but most of their army's pretty much just gone. And sure enough, what did I tell you guys? Hungary was more than likely just going to go ahead under Austria, and that's exactly what happened. And Austria is literally about to have the best game of their life, as they have both England and Hungary, and they're currently just beating up on Burgundy, who's probably going to trigger the Burgundian secession in a moment here. And while I was in this war, we could finally pick up Miltech 5, so we're back to being one whole Miltech ahead of Poland and Lithuania. Alright, so what has turned into a decade-long war for absolutely no reason other than, to be honest with you, a mismanagement on my part on just focusing purely on the armies and then going for the forts. Then in some cases, I just got caught up and bogged down on forts because some of them were just so close. But anyways, we could go ahead, take over these two areas, get 500 ducats, war reparations. I'm going to have them keep their alliance with Brandenburg. I'm okay with that because I have a feeling that a nation like the Ottomans or even Muscovy just might go for it. And speaking of the Ottomans, I don't know what is going on, but Karaman apparently took over Constantinople, and they're on their way to forming Rum. Also, Herzegovina is having a great game, and that makes me happy because this nation's actually really fun to play. And now I could complete the mission, defeat Poland, giving us 25 power projection, and we could preview the two different mission trees. So we could choose the Prussian branch, which no, we are not doing this one, but this one's all about the HRE. We're going to go with the Crusader mission branch, again, which is basically plowing through Poland, Lithuania, and through all the steppes into Mongolia. We are also going to get some additional permanent claims in these areas here, and apparently we can complete this mission here because for one, we're Catholic, influence of our clergy is 50, loyalties above 60, and they have 3 privileges for our clergy, and we can now enable the issue Anti-Heresy Act and get permanent claims on what would be Novgorod over here, but is now a mix of Denmark, Sweden, Muscovy, Novgorod, and Pskov. Now let's look at that estate privilege here, issue heretic thing. Missionary strength versus heretics +2, and our burghers are a little bit less loyal. That's not too bad. I don't mind that. But for right now, we are just going to go ahead, heal for the next 8 years, or at least until our truce with Poland is up. And we're going to focus on some of these other missions like securing a papal alliance, which is simply, as you guys can probably guess by the mission name, securing an alliance with the papal states. Now, because I see Austria's having such a good game here, and they don't necessarily want anything that I want from Poland, I'm going to go ahead and actually try and ally these guys. I'm going to break my alliance with Bohemia and trade them in for Austria, who's about to have the best game of their freaking life. And because we embrace the Renaissance, and Danzig is a province that produces gems, I actually got faceting in that province. So we get Diamond District to the end of the game. Local goods produce, trade value modifier, and the price of gems goes up until the end of the game. Tier 3 government reform is education of the state. We have education of the theocrat. New rulers will trigger an education event for future heirs, and their average monarch lifespan goes up by 20%. Cheaper advisors, missionary strength, maximum absolutism, and missionary maintenance cost, or education of the people, which is idea costs and institution spread in true faith provinces. I'm going to go with this first one here. Now, I'm about to secure an alliance with the Pope, meaning I should be able to complete this mission soon. We just simply need to have at least 1 active cardinal or invest 30 papal influence. Alternatively, have 2 papal modifiers. We're just going to go ahead and dump a bunch of influence points like that, and we could complete secure papal alliance, giving us even more papal influence and an inquisitor who's going to be half cost. Finally, I could choose my very first idea group, and speaking of ideas, I'm going to quickly look at Teutonic ideas before we go ahead and talk about the idea set that we are going to be choosing first. So as I mentioned way at the start of the game, we get 10% cav combat ability, 5% discipline. At the end here, we do get 10% institution spread. Some of the other ideas give us cheaper infantry and cavalry, manpower recovery speed plus 15%, infantry combat ability 10%, missionary strength plus 2, papal influence or church power, whichever one, fort defense plus 15%, an additional missionary, and tolerance of the true faith. Now, for this run, because we are a Holy Order, and because some of our missions do actually require us to take either religious or divine ideas, we are actually going to be opening up with divine ideas. And also too, it's just kind of role play, just to have some fun with it. Alright, our truce with Poland is over, and this war is going to be so much easier because I did ally Austria. I made them reduce their opinion of Poland, so now they'll actually join, and we outnumber these guys like 2-1. So Brandenburg, get ready to give me my cores back. Now this is interesting. I did kind of expect this to happen just because of Austria having the game that they are having. But yeah, so we got France and the Ottomans allying each other. That's actually really unfortunate for me because I'm going to be invading the Ottomans at some point for the Pontic Steppe. And I think I do actually have a mission way later on, yeah, actually to just straight up destroy the Ottomans. Tier 4 government reform. I'm thinking, again, just because we're kind of going more roleplay this run, just for the heck of it, I'm going to go with lands for the church. Alright, so in this war against Poland, we're going to do something like this. I'm going to take away some of their key forts in Krakow, Plock, and this one here in Lithuania. And honestly, yeah, I'm pretty good with it, pretty happy with this. It's going to give us 83 AE, which means Poland, Bohemia, Brandenburg, and Saxony are all going to be very upset with us, but you know what? I don't care because I got Austria-Hungary. Also, I don't know what's going on in the Balkans right now, but freaking Albania's going ham, dude. They just beat the Ottomans up. Alright, so my Age of Discovery bonus here, I'm actually going to do this transfer subject one, because next war we do against Poland, Lithuania, we're just going to go ahead and snipe Lithuania off of these guys. Because the thing is, we just simply have to own these 5 provinces over here. We just have to own 5 here. That gives us permanent claims on the entire Ruthenian region and the Pontic region. Well, that's all of Lithuania, literally. So in order for me to kind of like step over that, I'm just going to snipe Lithuania off of Poland here. Second idea group time. As I said, we're kind of role-playing this, so we're going to just go ahead and pick up religious ideas. Plus, again, we're going to have a lot of stuff to be converting as we expand out this way. Apparently, finally, I completed increase our income. I'm okay with that. Just need 2 stability, income of at least 21.75 ducats, no deficit, no loans, and less than 1% corruption, which we're at 0.45, even though it shows 1 up here. We're going to get a bunch of development in our capital. We're also going to get growth of capital in West Prussia for the next 25 years, cheaper construction costs, local dev cost, and Teutonic Order gets growing economy for 25 years. Alright, our truce with Poland's over, so we're going to go ahead and, of course, invade them again for Warsaw. And this time they did ally the nation of Bohemia. Tier 5 government reform, we're going to go with a unique one here, General War Commissariat, giving us yearly army tradition and minus 10% military technology cost. Okay, so what I thought would be my big brain move, well, it won't work out because even at half cost, Lithuania is still just way too big. It's going to cost me 154 war score in order to seize them away from Poland. So I'm just going to take things I have permanent claims on. That's going to allow me to actually complete the mission, annex Lithuania, giving me 20 army tradition, 25 devotion, permanent claims on Ruthenia and the Pontic Steppe. We also get Zeal of the Crusaders for 25 years, missionary strength, and more manpower in True Faith provinces. I finally completed found churches, 15 provinces with churches in them. Of course, Catholic, 25 papal influence is your reward. You get 10 clergy loyalty, and the papal state's opinion on me goes up by 50. Muscovites abandoned Denmark in their defensive war against Sweden, who's trying to break free here. They're allied to the Mamluks right now. We're currently losing a war against Ethiopia. And if I decked on the Muscovites right now, Himliks would actually break that alliance. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to invade them for Pskov. I don't expect us to get a lot of land out of this war. I mean, if we end up with a lot of land, I'm happy with that. But honestly, I expect us just to get these two provinces just until basically to just start pushing into Russia a little bit. Yeah, I mean, so far our troops pair up very well against the Muscovite troops. It's just, of course, they have a lot. Okay, so I've won 20 battles at least. And now I get 10 army tradition and experience of the battlefield to the end of the game, giving us more army tradition and cavalry infantry ratio. And what you're looking at now, the Ottomans are getting involved as they're trying to invade Russia as well. All right, we're going to do something like this. I'm actually not going to hold on to any of this land, though I will actually complete this really quick Conquest of Novgorod mission. It's going to give us permanent claims on the Moscow, Tver, and Vladimir areas. But now what I'm going to do is actually release out the nation of Novgorod, and I'm just going to feed them a couple, or actually I'm going to give Livonian Order these two provinces here. And then I'm going to actually enforce my religion on Novgorod. It's going to help me complete an age objective. I already have religious completely done. So now I got that. Now I just need to convert a bunch of provinces, which should not be that bad. Tier 6 government reform. We have partial, basically we could swap to a monarchy if we want, republic, or basically strengthen our religious head. I'm just going to do that. We're going to do yearly absolutism, maximum absolutism. I like that one way more. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for my truce with Russia to be up in 1530, so 10 years, I started another war against Poland, Lithuania, and pretty much we're going to kick Poland out of what would be the region of Poland, and that's just going to leave Lithuania pretty much for us to conquer all of. Oh, Poland just straight up abandoned Lithuania, so Lithuania's on their own, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, after converting an additional like 2-3 provinces over in the Polish region, I could complete this mission. I had to own at least 20 provinces in the Polish region, which is everything right here. I own everything except for the stuff in Bohemia, and it all has to be Catholic pretty much. We get additional manpower, just flat out 12,000 manpower, 10 army tradition, 150 admin, missionary strength +2 for the next 25 years, and manpower and true faith provinces plus 10%. Finally, I embraced colonialism, meaning I can pick up my third idea group now. And I'm thinking we're going to go with diplomatic ideas so we could get that cheaper province war score cost, really stack that with religious ideas and Deus Vult CB. It's going to be really, really easy for us to take large amounts of land. Plus getting an additional 2 diplomats, always very nice. So I could go ahead, complete the mission, resist the Reformation, 90% religious unity. I'm at 94%. Obviously not in the Age of Discovery, not Protestant, and I have the Counter-Reformation embraced, meaning I can embrace the Counter-Reformation indefinitely. Okay, so our truce with Muscovy is over, and what I'm going to go ahead and actually do here is seize land from my boy Livonian Order here. I should have just done this to begin with. And what this is going to allow me to do is get the Cleansing a Heresy CB on Muscovy so we could actually take a lot more land. Let's go ahead and do just that, Cleansing a Heresy. Let's go ahead, dab on these Russians. And so far this war is going very easy. We are currently at 23% war score winning right now. And I mean, it definitely helps. I have a 3-star general who's a 4.363. And these Russians, who are a whole Miltech behind me, really don't stand a chance. As you guys can see, it's absolutely just crushing them. Alright, and this is what our peace deal with Muscovy is looking like here. I could take everything that I have a claim on, and also 153 ducats. Does say 452 admin to core up everything, but most of this is honestly just going to go straight to Novgorod, because I really don't feel like going over my governing capacity, which is already very, very much strapped here. I could also finally complete the mission Embrace Religious Ideas. We just simply had to be Catholic, complete either religious or divine ideas in our case, because we are kind of role-playing here. We chose divine and religious ideas, and have either an Inquisitor or a Theologian level 3 and 100 devotion. And I think it's our ruler, yeah, Heinrich here. I don't know which Heinrich it is. I'm assuming it is this. Yeah, it is this Heinrich. He's going to gain 2 admin and 2 mil, because if you complete religious ideas, you gain just 2 admin for your ruler. If you complete just divine ideas, you get 2 mil for completing just divine ideas. In our case, we completed both, so we get to choose both. Okay, so our truce with Lithuania is over. Meaning, yes, we are going to go ahead and invade Lithuania, and they are still allied to Poland. Good for you, Poland, but honestly, you're pretty much done here, buddy. And my plans for Lithuania is we're essentially going to give these guys a big old hug with my own borders. I've been building courthouses. I did expand my administration a couple times here just to increase that governing capacity. I'm also really high in my admin, almost at my cap. But I want to use that to go ahead and core up some of these provinces, and by the end of this war, we should be pretty close, if not already have admin tech 11. So we can build state houses, which will lower province governing costs, actually like really statewide, and also increase our governing capacity by 100 overall, which is great because we are still a freaking duchy, man. Unfortunately for us, our government reform monastic order does not allow us to actually become a kingdom or an empire. So in order for us to actually do that and become a kingdom or an empire, we have to complete one of these missions. And I believe it's this one here, the Ruthenian Plains, where I own 25 provinces in Ruthenia. And then we get formation of a Crusader Order happens. And I'm assuming that this is the one that allows us to become a kingdom. So like I said, just giving Lithuania a big old hug over here. And we did get some Orthodox provinces, which of course we were going to go ahead and start converting. But first, I got to core up all this stuff. Okay, so I could go ahead and complete the mission Reform the Army. I have completed, obviously, Conquer Poland. Completed Gain Combat Experience. Catholic. I think all of these missions are literally going to require us to be Catholic here. Have at least 30 Army Professionalism. I'm currently at 31%. And have at least 1 level 2 military advisor. We then get another 100 military power, and our modifier experiences of the battlefield gets upgraded. So it now includes yearly army tradition 0.75 and an increase to our cavalry to infantry ratio. With us finally getting like a good amount of governing capacity. I say a good amount, but it's still not like a lot. We're actually going to go ahead and begin integrating a couple of our subjects here. Or actually, I'm going to wait because I'm so close to getting that province war score cost. Then I'll go ahead and start integrating my subjects. Truce with Muscovy is over, so of course we're going to go ahead and invade them using Cleansing of Heresy, calling Pomerania and Saxony. Denmark will be involved in this war, but I don't see Denmark really doing anything. Just because, I mean, literally, look at their country. They're stuck in the Count feud disaster. So we don't really have to worry about them too much. And in fact, I would not be surprised if they peace out pretty early on. And here's the Protestant League war factions forming. Of course, I need to side with the Catholics. Though, again, basing on how many Protestants there are, there's a good chance that most of these guys are just going to join the Protestant League. Oh, there we go. I don't even have to wait to be at peace to join the League war. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and join the Catholic League. And again, this may have actually been a horrible idea because right now Bohemia is the leader. Ottomans and France are joined against us. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see like somebody like Castile join against us as well too, just because they don't like Austria, but they also don't like France. Okay, so I'm going to be able to take everything that I have a permanent claim on from the Muscovites. 160 ducats, break their alliance with Denmark here. And there we go. We push into the steps just a little bit more. And here we are. Religious League time. And we are not looking too good. I'm going to be honest with you guys here. Everything kind of looks like it's about to hurt. So, really the only thing I can do is just focus the Ottomans, I guess, and Muscovy. Hopefully getting either one of these two out of the war. No, Muscovy's not exactly like the strongest. It's just good to get them out of the war right away. Ottomans, obviously, however, completely different story. Though I will say this is definitely a welcome bonus, that Crusade modifier. And now Bohemia just called him frickin' Lithuania into this war too. Though they're just an ally. They're not actually part of the Protestant League. They're just an ally. And I mean, I guess like one thing that's really going like my way is my troops are super good right now. 110% discipline. Professionalism's up on near 40%. Because I've been in war since like the start of the game, my generals are just freaking chads. And I mean, we're just clapping cheeks right now, dude. There's nothing else about it. And at this point, I mean, we're losing by 97% war score. Austria, let's get out of here, dude. Please. Oh boy, here we go. Let's see how badly I got screwed over in this peace deal, huh? So Austria will cede all those back. Teutonic Order will cede Posen, Kalisk, Walloon, Krakow, and this province to Bohemia. Oh, we're about to have some problems here. I'm also going to release out Nagai. Okay, that's fine, whatever. Oh, I'm about to freaking murder Bohemia here, guys. I want all my land back. I really want all my land back. And the thing that really stinks too is Lithuania and Muscovy both were involved in this war, so I'm literally going to be sitting here for like the next, I don't know, however many years. Like basically 20 years. So I'm literally not going to be able to do anything for like 20 years other than, alright, we're going to integrate Novgorod and just sit and basically cry until our truce with Bohemia is over. We can finally pick up our 4th idea group, and we're just going to pick up quality. I want to buff up both my infantry and my cavalry right now. And I'm thinking our next idea after that is either going to be administrative or even innovative to stack up that infantry combat ability a little bit more too. Alright, with the integration in Novgorod, we can finally complete the fall of the Third Rome. Because all these provinces, obviously I own Moscow and everything over here is Catholic. The province itself is Catholic. We then get the event Fate of Moscow and permanent claims on the Russian region. So we could integrate the Muscovites into our state, repurpose the Orthodox churches, or turn a blind eye on the knights in Moscow and basically burn down the whole place. I will just do this top option. It's the more simple, safe option. And essentially what I have to do now is conquer all the Russian region and convert it all over to Catholic. And finally, our million truces are over, meaning I'm going to go ahead and immediately invade frickin' Bohemia here so we could get some vengeance on these guys. I'm also going to co-belligerent Lithuania because I do want their land. And we're going to take out all of our frustrations on Bohemia here. I'm not kidding you. I'm literally going to take over all my cores, some of the Polish stuff here, and we're going to return some of this land back to Austria to basically cut Bohemia down to size. I don't want to see them ever rise up again because, I mean, I love them. I love playing as Bohemia and their mission tree. Just in this campaign, Bohemia, I hate you. So let's do this. And also, just for the heck of it, we're going to start our golden era. See how you fight now when literally all of Europe's not defending Europe. Dude, look at that. Look at that. Get out of here. Stack wipe. Hate you. I'm really taking this personally. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm taking Bohemia and their whole religious league war very personally right now. I really like this event. Payback for the Hussite Wars. During the Hussite War, some of the heretic Hussites supported our Polish enemies in 1433 and fought against us. So now that we took Prague, we basically level the city, get 500 ducats, 55 military power projection. Or yeah, 50 power projection and 55 military power. Now this is interesting. The Ottomans invaded what's left of Poland. In the process, I guess France became defender of the faith. And now they're defending Poland, who they were originally allied to the Ottomans. So yeah, that's interesting. Also, why? Why? Okay, in this war against both Bohemia and Lithuania, obviously I co-belligerented Lithuania, so we're gonna literally shrink them down even more. We're just gonna give them an even bigger hug. And there we go. I honestly would not be surprised if next war, yeah, we could go ahead and full annex these guys. Perfect. So now, because I am over
100 overextension here. I don't know if I could concentrate. Oh, there we go. That's going to help us out quite a bit. Just concentrating some of that development back into our land. Now we're no longer over 100 overextension. Go ahead, core that stuff up. All right, so with Bohemia here, I'm going to take back all of my cores, of course. Almost 900 ducats. Return a bunch of cores over to Austria. You're welcome, Austria. We are going to suffer 93 aggressive expansion. The people that care really don't matter. There's like nobody that really matters out of that. And Austria, our ally here, our former Catholic comrade, is now officially reformed, which means that they are eligible to become the emperor yet again. Finally, with me converting over at least 27 provinces over here in the Ruthenian region to Catholic, we get formation of a Crusader Order happens and 100 admin. We can either unlock the Crusader Order, government reform, and that's kind of that, or we choose the top option, which of course is the better option, unlocks Crusader Order, government reform, and enacts a tier 1 government reform. We now become a kingdom, which is fantastic. That means all of a sudden we have more governing capacity. Of course, we get the heirs. Rulers could be generals. Religious unity affects devotion when changing religions. Is a monastic order, but on top of that, it also gives us more missionary strength, more discipline, and more army tradition from battles. Okay, so I can complete a pretty important mission here, which is adapt to the plains. Now, as you guys can see, my armies are size 40 each. 20 infantry, 10 cavalry, and 10 artillery. Why do I have so much cavalry? Why? Because if you'll notice here, our cavalry to infantry ratio is going up. Our cavalry combat ability is going up as well. And now once we complete this mission, adapt to the plains, we get a tier 3 discipline advisor who's 75% cheaper. We also get our modifier that we've been getting from reform the army and gain combat experience gets modified yet again, giving us 10% more cavalry combat ability, more army tradition, movement speed, and increases that cavalry to infantry ratio to 25%. So now we're at a 75, we could have up to 75% more cavalry into our armies here. Oh, now we have 30% cavalry combat ability, and I'm pretty sure you guys kind of know what's happening here next. We're going to get even more cavalry combat ability if we complete the next mission further down the line here. Okay, so I see the Ottomans are kind of getting destroyed here and demolished. We're not invading the Ottomans just yet. We're actually going to be invading Muscovy, who is part of this war because they're allied to the Venetians over here. And yeah, Venice... Ooh, actually, hold on. Let me wait a couple more months. We might be able to get Venice to not join the war at all. And I just simply had to wait one more month. And here we go. We could just straight up declare war on Muscovy and Venice won't get involved. Which is great because Venice brings like 200,000 troops right now, apparently. After converting over 75 provinces, we can finally complete Convert Land. So we get Tolerance to the True Faith for 100 years and yearly papal influence for 100 years. Now that we have 99% war score on these guys, we could get a 97% peace deal with Muscovy, pretty much kicking them out of Russia, aside from these like 5 provinces right here. And we just keep pushing on, man. Ah, that's much better. Alright, so Bohemia is defending the Empire because Wallachia over here decided to join the HRE. I'm going to take advantage. We're going to invade Bohemia again. For this mission here, End the Schism, you pretty much just need to own 40 provinces in the Russian region that are Catholic. One of them needs to be Moscow, Neva, and Novgorod. As long as you have those 3 and 40 provinces, you can complete this. Every Orthodox country will receive the event. The Teutonic Order ends the schism. So we get Tolerance to the True Faith and Missionary Strength versus Heretics. Now Muscovy actually swapped to Catholic, which actually doesn't really help me out at all. I don't like that at all. Alright, so I've caused enough damage at this point. I've converted at least 4 different nations in the HRE over to Catholic. So I'm going to release out Lusatia, Anhalt, and I'm also going to be taking a ton of money, almost 1,000 ducats from Bohemia. I'm going to make them give up all their claims in my country. That's where we're going to leave that for right now. Obviously, again, we're going to be coming back to these guys a little while later. Right now, I'm making things harder on Bohemia. So finally, after like almost 200 years of playing this game, I'm finally the Curia controller. I get so much papal influence here. Look at this. I'm literally getting 16.37 papal influence a year, and yet I have yet to become the Pope. But finally, I am the Pope. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and call a crusade against the Ottomans here. So now we can get some bonuses because guess what? Ottomans are more than likely going to be our next target here. I really need to get Mr. Austria to help me out. I mean, I technically don't need to get Austria to help me out, though it would be a big help. I could also potentially get the Mamluks to help me out. Pretty much what I need to do is take over the entire Crimean area away from the Ottomans. And then that actually should allow me to almost complete 2 missions. Because all I have to do is own 5 more provinces in the Pontic Steppe that are Catholic. We get permanent claims on Circassia, Dagestan, and Ural regions, which is pretty much, Ural is over here, or Ural. And then Dagestan, Circassia, that's all the way down here, these 2 states. And once we do that and we build a couple forts, then all of a sudden we are down to this one, which essentially just needs us to beat up on the Ottomans and become Defender of the Faith. Okay, so I was able to re-ally Persia after they dropped their rivalry with me. After I helped them get to be very strong. They're like, hey, you know what, let's rival you. And I'm going to go ahead, do a conquest war here. Because if I do Holy War, Persia will not join. So instead, we're going to do regular conquest, and we're going to go for Mansur right here. I will promise them land. Will I give them anything? It's 50-50. It depends on how well they do, to be honest with you. Plus, we're going to be fighting Transoceania over here, which that's actually going to be a really big country that we're going to be constantly fighting all the time. So I want to break up that alliance with between the Ottomans and them. So then that way, I pretty much have free reign to just kerplow right through these guys. Let's go ahead and invade them for Mansur. And here we go. Some Ottoman troops are caught out of position. These guys are scrambling. This should be a pretty easy stack wipe because our guys have very high discipline, high combat ability. I mean, you know, they don't have a general, so perfect. Wipe the floors with the Ottoman troops. And now I'm going to go ahead and try and relieve that siege up here in Vilnius, while I send another army all the way over here to try and hunt one of these stacks down. This time we're fighting their 3-star general in Crimea. See how this one goes. Yeah, same thing. We had the better discipline. 2 more pips of morale on these guys. Not a stack wipe, but still a really good battle for us. So far this war has been extremely easy. Ottomans are pretty much completely out of manpower. I'm at like half my manpower at this point. Persia, honestly, they did fantastic. They knocked out Transoceania, knocked out Iraq, and they're probably going to be knocking out Yemen very, very soon. So you guys can see they actually did 45% of the fighting here, which I got to give the AI props for that, because normally they don't really help me out with much. All right, so this is the type of peace deal we're going to go for. I'm going to take the entirety of the Crimea away from the Ottomans. Persia is going to get these 3 provinces. They're okay with that. They give me the thumbs up. In fact, I'm going to gain 2 favors. And we're going to take 800 ducats away from these guys. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and invade Muscovy. All right, so with Denmark, I could take these 2 provinces that I actually do have a claim on. Don't have a claim on anything else up here other than Kexholm from Sweden, which, of course, I'll get to eventually. Now, as for Muscovy, this is the type of peace deal I'm looking at here. This is the type of peace deal I really want from these guys. And it basically ensures I give them a big old hug so Transoceania doesn't literally get to them before I do. All right, so 5th idea group time. We're going to be picking up administrative ideas. No other way around it. I need that governing capacity, that court creation cost. Everything about administrative ideas is fantastic. So, all right, so my truce with Transoceania is over, meaning I could go ahead and invade these guys. I have claims on like 1 province up here, basically all these down here, and then I have like 1 claim on a province in the Ottomans, and obviously I could finish annexing Kazan if I win this war. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do another just conquest war, try and basically clean up the Caucasus over here and get that province from the Ottomans, completely take this over, full annex Kazan, and perfect. There we go. We could actually completely take the land that we needed. Ottomans were a pushover. I mean, you see that the Venetians, they're doing a number on these guys. I mean, I don't even have to get involved. The Venetians are doing it all for me at this point. But I was just absolutely dominating the Ottomans at this point. Also, Persia did help me out ultimately in the end. They did not join my war, but they did invade the nation of Fars, which is honestly a huge help on its own. So I didn't have to worry about piecing them out. And I could literally just take the 3 provinces that I want out of this war and 500 ducats. Alright, and finally I could complete this mission. Fortify the Caucasus. Again, all of it just needs to be Catholic. Circassia, Lachia specifically need to be Catholic with the highest level fort building I can have. And also I could get a military engineer who's going to be 90% cheaper. So level 3 guy, 90% cheaper. And Circassia gets fortified border to the end of the game. Same thing with Lachia. Both of them get local defensiveness plus 50%, garrison size, and fort maintenance minus 90%. And now all I have to do for this one is just become Defender of the Faith, which I could just snipe from Portugal. There we go. Because guess what? I, of course, am Catholic. I have won a war against the Ottomans within the past 100 years, and now I'm Defender of the Faith. We get humiliation of the Ottoman Empire happens. 100 power projection, we get Ottomans vanquished till the end of the game, giving us prestige decay, tolerance of the true faith +1, and every Christian province of the Ottomans gets inspired by the Teutonic victory for 10 years, giving them 20 unrest, and every Christian non-Catholic province of the Ottomans becomes Catholic. So any Orthodox province now flips to Catholic? Oh, that's actually kind of cool. And because I used that border friction CB, I could finally full annex Muscovy, and they're just gone. We have finally assumed our rightful place as the new nation in the East. Yeah, at this point, honestly, I think we should become the third Rome. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, let's go ahead and core all this stuff up. Again, over my governing capacity, and that's fine. We're going to go ahead and complete this mission, eliminate the hordes, which just simply requires you to own at least 20 provinces in the Ural region, all of which have to be Catholic. Yes, we could finally go ham on Transoceania. And literally, once we conquer 20 provinces over here, all of a sudden we kind of are like, you know what? We like burning things down. Let's become a horde. So we're almost to that point here, and I'm very close to completing this mission right here. I just have to bulk up my cavalry and build a couple more barracks. And now I can establish a great cavalry. Just had to complete the 2 previous missions, have at least 8 barracks, 20 provinces producing grain, gain at least 10 mil a month, and have 50,000 cavalry. We then gain 10 army professionalism, 20 army tradition, an army adapted to the plains gets upgraded to now mounted Crusader army till the end of the game, giving us 15% cavalry combat ability, an additional +1 yearly army tradition, cavalry flanking speed, movement speed, and cavalry to infantry ratio, meaning if we want, we could go 100% full cavalry at this point, because we are at 100%. Alright, so this is our peace deal with Transoceania here. We're literally going to be cutting them like right down the middle here. I don't want Persia to get any of Central Asia. I don't want to fight Persia. So I went ahead and cut Transoceania like right down the middle here. Everything I had a claim on their southern border, we took it. Pretty much to make sure that Persia does not take any of the land that I need. Because Persia, I don't want to fight them. They're kind of scary this game. Let's go ahead and start coring this stuff up. And then yeah, we'll just at some point we'll be back for these guys. And in the meantime, I'm gonna have to invade Chagatai and Oirat. And I think even like, yeah, one province from Shun. And finally, I could just threaten Sweden for this one province of Kexholm. I've been trying to avoid having to fight Sweden. Not because they're strong or anything, but literally, why fight them for this one province when I could just threaten them? So there we go. Finally got our one province that we needed off of Sweden. We can finally complete the mission, construct cathedrals, which just simply requires us, of course, to be Catholic, 10 cathedrals throughout our entire country, and have a theologian advisor who's at least level 3. We then gain +5 papal influence for every cathedral that we have throughout our country. We also get Teutonic Cathedral for 25 years, giving us additional tax, plus 200% and local unrest, -3. With me now owning 20 provinces that are Catholic within Central Asia, we could complete the mission, push into the steppes. We then get 1,000 ducats, 10,000 manpower, and we get even more money from Catholic provinces in the Ural, Pontic Steppe, and Central Asia regions, and even more manpower from Catholic provinces in the Ural, Pontic Steppe, and Central Asia regions as well. And with us finally completing that mission, and with us finally building up those additional 10 troops, I could finally click on this mission, Crusader of the Steppes, which required us to have 80% religious unity, 100 cities, we're at 233 provinces, cavalry fraction at least 50%, should be much higher than that considering that most of my army is cavalry, and have an army equal or larger than 100,000. We get Crusaders of the Steppes happens. Essentially, this mission is letting us know that our rulers have been inspired by Genghis Khan and pushing eastwards and basically merging ourselves with that lifestyle of the nomadic peoples. So now our capital gets manpower and true faith provinces till the end of the game, 25%. We also unlock a unique government reform known as the Holy Horde, which fixes us to an empire rank and allows us to have horde ideas, and now we can raise provinces. That really only leaves us with like a couple missions here. In fact, I think that's only 2 missions left. One of them being castle expertise. We need to have at least 25 provinces with the highest level fort and a military engineer of at least 3. And then crush heresy, which I don't know if we'll be able to do this because there's so many Protestant nations in Europe at this time, and none of these guys I would really not be able to convert any of them. Additionally, and I keep forgetting about this, we are going to finish all of our conquests with Transoceania. I think this will take us 1 war, just depending on really just our admin efficiency. If we could get it up a little bit more with absolutism, which we're at 56 out of 75 right now, we should be able to get most of these provinces. Finally, I could complete this mission, Castle Expertise, for the next 100 years, so basically to the end of the game, because we're at like 1660 pretty much. We get cheaper fort maintenance and attrition for enemies +1 and fort defense +25%. And there you guys go, the year 1679, and we have conquered everything we have a claim on, except for like this province here in Transoceania and these 3 colonizable provinces. But otherwise, our nation's looking very Catholic, huh? Everything over here is very, very Catholic. Our army is extremely strong. Our army professionalism was a lot higher. It was actually over, like midway over here until we had to fight the Persians because they drained out a lot of my manpower. But the entire Teutonic mission tree is completely done aside from this one mission here. And that's because there's just absolutely no way I'm going to be able to do that. Especially on a nation like Austria right now, or like Venice. Like that, I'm sorry guys, but it's just not happening. With all that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Chairman out.